Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. And for those of you who are new here, hi, I'm Amy and this is Thrift Adventure. I'm a full-time reseller primarily on the Poshmark app, but I do dabble on other online platforms and I sell locally. Today I'll be doing another ship with me video. In these videos, I go day to day and I share the different items that I'm shipping out. I talk about how much they sold for, what I paid for them, and what my profit was. So you want to be sure to watch all the way until the end because I always have interesting and unique items, and I'm sure you can learn some new things to keep your eyes out for when you're out thrifting. So let's get started. The first item that sold is this Western leather belt, kind of distressed. It does have inset horsehair, woven horsehair, and it is by Nakona brand, which I do pretty well typically with this brand. Now the woven or hitched horsehair, as they call it, typically I can get better prices for belts made from that, but for some reason this one just sat. It did have quite a bit of wear, and so I got an offer for $29 today, and I just decided to go ahead and accept it because this had been listed for quite some time and I had relisted it. So I was just ready to let it go. I only paid $3 for it. So after posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $20.20. Still a nice little profit. And this is still, you know, this belt is still has lots of life left in it. So I'm sure the buyer will get more use out of it. The next item that sold is this vintage Banana Republic leather jacket. I know this is vintage because I purchased it myself in the early 2000s, maybe even late 90s, and this was my favorite leather coat. And it has been sitting in my basement closet for years. I think just because I loved it so much, and I knew that if I tried to sell it at a yard sale, I would be lucky to get like $5 for it. So I just decided to keep it rather than sell it. But for those of you who are my regular viewers and subscribers, you've seen that I am trying to kind of clear out some items that have been sitting around my house, and it has been serving me really well. So this sold for $50. You know, and it is giving me some more space at my house and some more dollars in my pocket. I am thrilled with the results of it so far. I've been kind of surprised at how much some of these, you know, semi-vintage items from the 2000s can sell for right now. So keep your eyes out for these when you're out at the thrift store. Maybe try and familiarize yourself with vintage versus newer labels from these kind of contemporary brands. Let's see, I just knocked my, there we go, my shipping label on the ground. But so it sold for $50. I put my cost of goods as $0 because it was from my own closet. In reality, it's probably a wash because I would guess I paid somewhere around that amount, the $50 mark for it, maybe less. I'm pretty frugal. But after posh fees, that made my earnings $40. I'm thrilled with that. Let's see, let's get this out of the way. The next item that sold is this really awesome vintage Pendleton sweater. I loved the color combo. I loved the print. This is definitely a vintage piece. This only sold for $50, which $50 is pretty great, but typically for these kind of Aztec Navajo type print Pendleton pieces, you can get more for them. But this had quite a few holes and flaws. It also had a repair that I tried to repair a hole, and then I realized I used the wrong color thread. It really didn't look that bad, but anyways, it had quite a few flaws. So I think I listed it for $79 or $89, and the buyer offered me $50. It had been hanging around my desk pile for a long time, waiting to first be cleaned, And then second to be repaired. Well, actually, at first I didn't even realize it had these flaws in it. Then I saw all these, you know, little holes, and there were a few of them and little flaws. So rather than try and repair it any further, I just decided to list it the way it was. And I think $50 is just a fine price for a flawed item. I had paid up for this a little bit. I paid $13, but that still left me with a profit of $27. So I think that's just fine, and I'm happy to get it out of my death pile. So it didn't turn out to be a very good weekend for online sales. However, I did have two in-person sales that were quite exciting. So I don't have them here, of course, because the buyer came and bought them and took them away. I will try and remember to insert photos of the items after this clip. But one item sold for $400. It was this stunning brass lion head fountain sculpture. So it was probably about this big around, super heavy. And I'll update you. I forgot to update you guys last week on how my listing challenge went. So after this chitty chat, I will tell you about that. So it sold for $400. I had it listed on Cherish, and one of my local customers was looking at my Cherish shop, and she saw that I had reduced the price on this item. So she texted me and asked me what my best cash price was for this item. And so I told her $400, and she was thrilled. Apparently she'd been watching it for a while, waiting to see if I reduced the price. And she and her husband came in and paid cash for it. So that is super exciting. I had paid $36 for it. So there were no fees or anything. So that made my profit $364, which is amazing. It was really a spectacular piece and may have been more valuable than that, but I had it listed for, I think, almost a year. So I was ready to move it through. I also sold a little pair of enamel bowls. So they were silver plated on the outside, and then colorful enamel on the inside, and those two bowls sold for $50. I believe I paid about $2 a piece for those, so I put my cost of goods as $4. So that made my profit $46. That made up for the slow sales on Poshmark and Cherish. For Poshmark, I think my sales are slow because I had a return request that was approved last week. And while I disagree with Poshmark approving the return request, it's just part of the business. Sometimes you get returns. I have not had a return in a really long time. So it was a kind of expensive item. It was a real gold heart brooch. And the buyer said that the gold color was brighter than normal 14 karat gold. I don't know. But Poshmark basically said they couldn't verify the gold, the makeup of the item. So whatever, I'll get it back. I will relist it and hopefully it will sell for more. My point about the return is that sometimes that can cause your sales to be slow for maybe a week or so after you have an approved return. So that is why I fight so hard to not have returns, and why I typically don't offer cancellations, because personally, I believe that those do affect my sales. But we just have to accept it and move forward. So I struggled a little bit with my listing challenge last week. I had a goal to list 70 items, and the first part of the week I did not do very well. A couple of the days I did only 3 listings. One day I did 0, but I ended up getting to 71 listings, and that was a combination of new items and relisted items. And I think I probably only did maybe 40 new listings and 30 relists. But that big lion head was one of the items that I relisted and reduced the price, and I got a sale as a result of that. So relisting items can definitely be beneficial as well, and I encourage you to do that. I forgot to, I'm sorry, I'm scattered, but I my total new listings were about $3,400 worth. So that is really exciting to see the amount, potential dollar amount of new listings. So even if I get 30 to 40% less than that $3,400, that's still a couple $1,000s in potential sales. So don't go anywhere. I will be back in a couple of days to share what else I sell. If you enjoy this type of video, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. It means so much to me. It's totally free to you and it helps me out. Also, if you could give this video a thumbs up and comment down below, both those things also help me out. Okay, I will be right back with more great finds. Hey again, it's Thursday, and I'll be honest, it has been a dismal week on Poshmark. Thank goodness I had those in-person sales over the weekend to kind of offset how terrible it is. I do believe that this is because I had that return case open that was approved. And again, we have no control over those, so all we can do is just do our best to bring our Posh closets back to life. So I'll go ahead and share what I sold over the last couple of days, and then I will tell you what I am doing to try and get my sales going again. So the first item that sold is this vintage little brooch, and it has a black colored stone or glass, and then it has this little crest on it. I wasn't able to figure out what the crest meant or who it was from or for. So I just put that it had a crest on it. You know, I could have left a little money on the table for this. This sold for $30. But sometimes I just don't have the time or energy or interest in researching every single item. This item just was not exciting to me at all. And so hopefully I did not leave too much money on the table, but time is money. And so sometimes you just have to, you know, sell things for what you think they are worth and, you know, hope that the next time you make big bucks on it. So this sold for $30. I only paid $1 for it though, so that still made my my profit $23 after Posh fees and my cost of goods. So not a terrible profit, and it sold rather quickly. So I am suspicious that it may have been something better than I thought because it really only took, I think, less than a week to sell. That's okay. We can't know everything. We can't win them all. And hopefully that person either enjoys it or makes some money on it too. The next item is just this kind of bodycon French Connection knit dress. And I picked this up for myself at the Goodwill. My Goodwill no longer has dressing rooms, so I couldn't try this on. And then I missed the exchange return window for it, so I just decided to list it. It was marked medium, but it was a pretty snug bodycon fit, and I just wasn't feeling confident enough to pull it off. It ended up selling for $23. It didn't take a terribly long time to sell. I had paid $5 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $10.42. Not a super exciting profit, but just fine for something that I didn't buy with the intention to resell. And, you know, every time that I buy something like this without the intention to resell and then I'm still able to make money on it, it helps me learn. It helps you learn, so you can see that you may be able to, you know, pick up French Connection at the bins or something and still make a decent profit on it. So like I said, my profit was $10.42. So I had someone in one of my recent videos, it probably was a couple of weeks ago, there was a lot of discussion in the comments about how you package your items, whether you use plastic or paper. I had someone say that I should use plastic for my leather belts, and a lot of you said that you didn't agree with using plastic. A lot of you said that you use plastic for certain fabrics or leather. Someone mentioned that I shouldn't be using plastic, number one, and just to let you know, this plastic that I'm using is from an estate sale. I really try and buy as many items, secondhand packaging items, as I can. And they mentioned that I should just be sticking them directly in this Tyvek envelope because it is waterproof. However, I'm curious, has anyone done research on the material that this Tyvek is made up of? Is it better for the environment? I just did a quick search and it looks like it is recyclable, but you have to mail it in to the DuPont facility to recycle it. So I think that we should all, be as educated as possible. So if you have knowledge of these and whether they are, easily combustible, compostable, whatever the word is, we would all love to know in the comments down below, because we all want to learn from each other and do the best that we can. And that's what I said. Some buyers really want their items with extra packaging or with wrapped in plastic. Some buyers do not. And we just have to do the best we can to, for the environment and to please our customers, because we are in a business to serve people, and so we want happy customers too. So there's a fine balance. But I do really, really appreciate everyone's comments, opinions, feedback on how you package. I think it was really a great, kind of conversation to have and learning experience for the people who read the comments on my videos. So the next sale was a little bit better. It is this really adorable vintage kind of bolero jacket, which I did not use in my listing, and I should have. This has genuine fox fur at the top, and then the body is like a velvet, which is meant to look like curly tail lamb, although it is not genuine fur. I have had this listed for a really long time. I thought it was beautiful, adorable, all the things. I suspect that this sold, it also had these really fun buttons. Can you see those? It's like thread or something that's made into a little rosette. I suspect this sold because of the current mob wife trend. Thank you again to whoever mentioned that to me in the comments. If you find faux fur for a reasonable price, or, thick gold chains, leopard print, all of that is really trendy again right now for the mob wife aesthetic, which I just think is so fun and funny. I am all about picking up the vintage kind of extra style items. So this sold for $75. I had it priced way higher than that a while ago. And I've relisted it. I've shared it. I've changed the pictures. I've changed the description. And like I said, it sold for $75. When I got that offer, I just said, I'm going to go ahead and take this because I have had it for far too long. I've had it for years, but I've had it listed online for, I don't know, probably a year or two, maybe more. So I wanted to take advantage of moving that out. I did wear it to a couple, holiday parties just for a festive. I borrowed it, rented it, because I did not intentionally or originally buy this for myself. I bought it for resale. I paid $10 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $50. So like something for this, I definitely think it is great to wrap it in plastic to protect it from the elements, especially when it's raining and snowing, which by the way, it was 58 degrees here over the weekend a couple of days ago, and now we're having another snowstorm and it's 30 degrees. It's just crazy. Let's see, I might need to get a bigger box for that. I don't want that to be totally crushed. Okay, so to share, I'll try and be quick, but that's difficult for me. what I am doing to try and revive my Poshmark closet. Number one, listing new items or relisting items. When I relist items, I am taking a second look at the photos and the description. I am adding any applicable keywords. So like I wouldn't have had mob wife in this, or maybe I wouldn't have had granny core. I'm not sure, but I'm adding any applicable trend keywords that I can to the listing. I'm not just copying and pasting exactly what it is. I'm looking at the price and looking at the market to see if I should raise the price or lower the price. And sometimes, believe it or not, raising the price of an item can cause it to sell because it can prompt a, if that's the right word, a perceived value of the item. So if you have something priced too low, people may perceive it as junky, where if you have it priced higher, they may perceive it as something really nice. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I am positively interacting with the app. So I'm trying to accept as many offers as I can. I've had a lot of terribly lowball offers, like more than 60% off my asking price, which I can't, or I'm just not going to for certain items accept that type of offer. I am also sharing my closet as much as possible. I share other people's items, but from the news feed. So I just go to my news feed and I'll share 10 or 20 items at a time. I don't spend a lot of time on it. Then I'll go to the today's trends. So if you hit the magnifier glass for shopping and you scroll down a little bit, it'll say today's trends. And then I'll go into 2 or 3 of those trends and I will share 10 or 15 items from each trend. And then I will go to, a big posher's closet who has a lot of followers, say like the Posh Kings or the Deal Queen, or I suppose I have a lot of followers on Poshmark now too. So I go to their followers and I follow their followers. So that could take me between 10 and 20 minutes, depending on, how much time I put in it. But that can really generate some activity in your closet. I would recommend having items at the top of your closet that you are motivated to sell, maybe higher dollar items, maybe items that you have a lot of profit margin, because doing those activities will cause other people to come to your closet, follow you, and share your listings. I know some people will say that sharing other people's listings isn't worth their time, and that could be true. It seems to generate, activity and business in my closet when I do it. So that's just from my experience. Let's see, what is the third thing? So ship quickly, that is a good thing. Just anything as active as possible as you can be on the app. And I'm not sure, but I do have Posher VA that shares my closet regularly for me, but I also go in and I use the bulk sharing tool and I share myself a couple of times a day. I honestly think that the app or the algorithm, whatever you want to call it, can detect when it is a bot sharing your closet versus you actually sharing your closet. And there's a difference in how the app reacts to that activity. That is my personal opinion. And, try it out, see what happens. If you have a bot sharing your closet, see how many, how much notification likes you get, and then share your closet yourself and see what the result is. Another thing that I do is that I edit next list my items. So this is, if you haven't heard of this before, it's like going in and editing a listing, except you don't actually make any edits. It also shares your item. What this is supposed to do is reset the, what do they call it? Cassini search results. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it boosts your item in search engine results like Google. So that is something that I learned in another group. I am not certain that it is true, but I will try anything when my sales are slow. So last night when me and my husband were watching TV, I went through and I edit next list every single item in my closet, and I have over 1,000 items. So it did take some time, but I woke up to like 3 or 4 offers. 2 of them I accepted, 2 of them I countered. So it's worth giving it a try. Something that I do not think is helpful is going into Poshmark groups and complaining about slow sales. Beating yourself up is not helpful. Giving up is not helpful. When you put the work in and you try and stay positive and look at it from what it is, that is helpful. So I hope these tips are helpful for you. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any other suggestions on what you do to boost your sales when they are slow or after you have a case or a return, because I think everyone can learn from that. So it is Thursday. I really hope things pick up and I have more to share with you, but it's Valentine's Day week. So my husband and I are going out of town, just an hour away, to go out to dinner and do some shopping on Saturday. So I don't know if there will be more or not. If there's not, T-Bird will make a cameo and say goodbye. But thank you so much, and I will see you again soon. As promised, T-Bird is making an appearance, and she looks like she's in a good mood. Oh, there she's telling you to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I love it when she does that. So yeah, I didn't end up having any more sales, unfortunately. Sorry if she is so shrill and loud. My total sales for the week was about $707, which isn't my greatest week, but I am thankful for any time I have sales. And my total profit after fees and cost of goods was about $580. I'm hoping next week is better. I have been working hard, like I said. Looks like T-Bird needs a bath. She is molting, meaning that she lost her feathers, shedding basically, and they are coming back in. And when that happens, she looks a little ratty, but we'll give her a bath and she'll be good as new. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my videos, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2024, and I could really use your help with that. Also, as T-Bird said, give this video a thumbs up and comment down below. All those things really help me out. And thank you so very much for watching. We will see you next week.